are busy with audit. So they will not be able to attend the training for today. Thank you very much, Ms. Kamala. I wish all the best for team section 9 in audit 2. All right, let's begin our training of today. 大家下午好. So our internal training for today is on the topic of basic measurement standards. Again, for those who don't know me, my name is Lee Chachi, and this is my IC number 870912055434. Please take note that this is a recurring training that happens on every Tuesday by 3 p.m. And today is August 29. We have a total of 61 participants. Let's have a look at our learning outcomes of today. Today, we are focused on the main content of learning about length and height. Our second content will be on big and small, wide and narrow, and also I will introduce the Chinese speaking universal measuring unit of mm, cm, m, and km. So I hope that by the end of this interactive Zoom, all the participants will be able to understand and to speak in Chinese on these following topics, which I think is quite essential for our day-to-day construction scenarios within the general engineering setting. So basic measurement standards in Chinese is called 基本测量标准, where 基本 is the basic, 测量 is measurement, 标准 is the standard. It will sound like the EFG, G plus 本. 测量 will be 色, dua, 色 in front plus T, 测 and then 量 测量 and then 标 and 准 标准. So when we read, we will say 基本测量标准. All right. The importance of us learning about this 基本测量标准 is, well, we know that in construction, we want to making things speed. So all our engineers and technical staff, they basically measure everything. They want to make sure all the pieces of construction fit together perfectly. Second is to work safely. So again, in engineering setting, if things are not really like in the right way, they might not work properly and could be dangerous. So this 基本测量标准 will help engineers and technical staff build things that work well and to keep everyone safe. The most important part, I think, is to make everyone understand. When we have these universal measurement units in engineering, people around the world who study engineering, they know how things are measured. So as they are using these same rules that apply to all, I believe they can easily understand how to make sure the construction is in order and is just right. These are the importance, all right? Then we proceed to our main content of 1A, is learning about length. Length is measured horizontally. As we can see here is long and short. Long in Chinese is called 长. It will sound like 吃啊嗯长. Let's check out the caterpillar that is 6 cm here. Is long because it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 cm. Comparing to another caterpillar, which is considered relatively short because it measures 1, 2, 3, only 3 cm. So this short is read as 短. 短, it would sound like 短. A bit faster, 短. So we know that 6 cm caterpillar is 长 and 3 cm caterpillar is 短. All right. Then we want to ask question. How long is the caterpillar? 多长多长 it will sound like do less walk 多 how long is the caterpillar? Or you may ask also, how short is the caterpillar? 多短多短 again it sounds like 多短 how short, right? Then we proceed to our main content of 1B, learning about height. Height is measured vertically. We have tall, we have short. For tall, it's called 高. Just like our gout problem, we talk a little bit soft. 高. Yes. Let's imagine a model who is tall, shakes hands with her client who is relatively short. All right. The lady CEO is wearing orange shirt. She is short. So in Chinese, we say 矮. It will sound like our eyes without S. 矮. So yes, as we can see, the comparison between 高 and 矮. So we want to ask question about height. So how tall you are, Miss Lee? 多高?多高 again it would be 多 plus 高. Yes, I'm 168 centimeters. How short my son is? 多矮?多矮 it will sound like adding 多 plus our I. 多矮. My son is about 130 cm. Alright. Next, we'll proceed to our second main content, big and small. How we know the thing is big and how we know the thing is small. So big is 大, okay? It will sound like sudah ke tidak? 大. Think of a green pandan cake, just a normal pandan cake will do. So it fits a plate that takes up a lot of space. It's 大, alright? Please bear that pandan cake in mind. Then we go to the small polka dot. Small is 小, 小. It would sound like 是 plus 要. 要令 also can 是小. So this green polka dot fits only on our fingertip. So you can see the ideas of big and small. Or we say in Chinese, 大, 小. Then we ask question about big and small. How big? How big is the pandan cake? 多大?多大? It will sound like again, 多大? Yes. 多小 is how small. 多小 it will sound like 多小. Okay. Then we proceed to wide and narrow. Wide is 宽. It sounds like 宽. How to have the idea of 宽? Okay, let's picture a white door. This white door is actually quite broad from side A to side B. So one time, it allowed 3 persons to pass by. Is considered as wide. Comparing to another door, which is narrow. Narrow is 窄. It will sound like the blender machine Z plus I, 窄. So just imagine another narrow door that only allowed 1 person to pass by one time. So that doesn't have much space for us to walk in. That is considered 窄. 宽 is for 3 persons. 窄 is for 1 people. Alright, let's ask the question. How wide is your office door? 多宽? 多宽 it will sound like 多 plus 宽. And then how narrow? 多窄? 多窄 it will sound like 多 plus 矮. 多窄. Then we will proceed to our last main content of millimeters, cm, m, and km. These are all the universal measurement units. The first part being millimeters is mm. is called how me. How me pronunciation would be like how are you, how, and me, the noodles. Okay, how me. Just imagine how small an ant is. Okay, so there's an ant attached to the ball pen tip. All right, after the measurement is 2 毫米 is 2 mm. So this millimeter will be smaller than this ant. Okay, then we want to ask question. 蚂蚁 the ant 多少 how many 毫米多少毫米 is the question. So when you want to answer, you can answer 我不知道 I don't know. Or you may answer 2毫米多少 right in front of 毫米 will make a question. So 多少毫米 is asked how many mm. Correct. Then we have to proceed to our 3B, centimeters. So centimeters is called 厘米. Li Mi will sound like my surname Li and the Mi. Li Mi. Centimeters are a bit bigger than millimeters. How big, you may ask? 多大?多长? So 1 mm is this small. So when we accumulate 10 mm, it will equal to 1 centimeters. As we can see here on the ruler, on the 尺, 1 cm is the bigger line on the ruler. So let's think of the width of our caterpillar. Still remember our caterpillar? How many centimeters? Yes. To ask question about cm, we can ask 多少厘米?多少厘米 would be the combination of 多 duo and 少多少 plus the cm 厘米. So when 多少厘米 is asking how many cm. So for the long caterpillar, 多少厘米? Let's have a try. 1厘米, 2厘米, 3厘米, 4厘米, 5厘米, 6厘米. The long caterpillar is measured as 6 cm, 6厘米. What about the short caterpillar? 多少厘米? Let's have a count. 1厘米, 2厘米, 3厘米. 3厘米 is 3 cm. This is how we ask the question about cm and how we answer. Of course, you can always answer 我不知道 I don't know. Next would be about meters. Meters is m. In Chinese, we call mi. So mi is just like the noodles. Meters are even bigger than centimeters. For your information, 100 cm equals to 1 m. So let's imagine of our door in our office. Normally, there are a couple of meter lah. So for our rough understanding, 1 meter is roughly about an acoustic guitar. For this guitar, it measures as 1.03 meter, or we can say 103 centimeter lah. This is just a rough idea of how big 1 meter is. Next, we'll ask about meters. We have question. 多少米?多少米 again is a combination of 多少 with our meter, mi. So it asks how many meter? For our Petronas towers in Kuala Lumpur, the projected height is 452. As for the current tallest building in the world is the Burj Dubai, which has the projected height of 800 meter. 800 meter, meaning to say 800 guitars, right? This is one of our assessment questions. Please remember it. Next would be our last main content 3D. This is kilometers, is km. km is 千米, 千米. It will pronounce as 七 last yen, 千 last der, 米, 千米. So kilometers are really big lah for me. They are like the distance from my office to my house and vice versa. So just imagine how far we drive from our home to our office every morning. So I believe that could be, for some of us, that could be a few kilometers. So for all our information, we are having this metric conversion table where it shows that 10毫米 equals to 1厘米. 10 mm equals to 1 cm. Then 100厘米 equals to 1米. 100 centimeter equals to 1 meter. And the last part being 千米, 1000米, which means 1 kilometer, as we read here, 千米. So we always have question about kilometers. So when I want to ask this, we would ask 多少千米? 多少千米 would be 多少 plus the km, 千米. It asks how many km. So for all of your information, Miss Lina and I actually stay in the middle of Kuala Terengganu town. We take, for example, from Pasar Payang, all right? So from Pasar Payang all the way to Section 3 office where we are right now is actually roughly about 15 kilometers. So every morning, both of us have to travel like 25 minutes. If without the congested traffic, then yes. And then afterward, we will travel back another 25 minutes. No? All right. With this, I would like to have our conclusion for today, where we already learned about length and height. So let's practice these words so that it might help and we have fun. So for those measurement where we measure it horizontally, we have this long. Long is 长, 长, okay. Short is 短, 短. For those measurement we measure vertically would be tall. Tall is 高, 高. Short is 矮, 矮. Please take note that although it's short, in comparing to long, it's called 短 in Chinese. But when short, comparing to tall in Chinese is called 矮. That's the difference. Next, we'll have this recap on big and small, wide and narrow. Big is 大, 大. Small is 小, 小. And then we have this wide door. Wide is 宽, 宽. And then narrow would be 窄, 窄. With this, I would also have the revision on mm, cm, m, and km. So for mm, which is millimeters, is called 毫米, 毫米. For centimeters, is cm, it's called 厘米, 厘米. For meters, is m, is 米. For kilometers, is km. We call it as 千米, 千米. And that's all from me today. And I would like to open the floor for Q&A session. Yes, Miss Guna, any question from your good office? Well, there is no further question. I would like to share a feedback from my own team from session 3. My colleagues actually told me that, Miss Lee, your pronunciations are sometimes quite tricky to us. But after all, I can start to understand what our Chinese colleagues they are actually saying. I consider this is a good feedback from myself, and it actually motivates me to prepare the slide better, shorter. I chunk it out to make it into smaller parts so that we can like really understand. Although I only have 30 minutes with all of you 1 week. So this is for your info. And please do not forget of our assessment, where we have this written assessment and practical assessment. I actually enjoy facilitating the training. I hope you guys also enjoy the learning. So please do not hesitate to like do the assessment, because with this I can check our understanding, whether I need to like start to develop more complicated contents, or I just can remain as the simple form of the slide. So feel free to, yes, do the assessment. And for the practical assessment, actually there are a few members call to me and speak Chinese to me. I'm quite amazed of it. Thank you so much for that. And then please take chances and yeah, make mistakes. That's how we grow. So I still believe that this outwardness and embracement will nourish our courage. Let's feel together. Let's have fun together in order to practice being brave within our own team. Okay? And then if there are no further questions, oh, yes, Mr. Zhou from section 4 actually reminded me on decimeter. Well, I developed the content. I actually aware of there are smaller meters on it. So if you do not mind it, in for our future training content, I will definitely include the decimeter in as part of the content. Also about the times. Yes, I will propose to my boss and then I will develop it. Thank you so much, Tizo. So if the,
Thank you.
yes.
Thanks, Miss Lee.
So, thank you very much. So yes, if there is no further question, so I would like to thank you all for your attention and time. 谢谢大家 and then 再见。
你很漂亮。
谢谢你 Jehalim. Finally hear from you.
谢谢。
谢谢。
大家谢谢Miss Lee。
谢谢你们。
谢谢 Miss Lee。
谢谢你 ，Miss Lina，我听不到你。
谢谢 Miss Lee。
谢谢谢谢。
谢谢。
谢谢。